This is part of the playlist on how exactly we're going to stop our kids from being criminally insane and stop them from dying in the streets from drug addiction. You may have seen my 2 other videos. One about pushing them to their limit and guiding them past it, which was absent from 80 to 90% of our incarcerated children, America's children, traumatized children. We currently keep our traumatized children in prisons and jails. Within a large percentile of them never got pushed to the limit and guided past it, which is usually what a good father does, like Luke Nichols does. And then after that, they have to go through the writing experience, a couple hundred pages, addressing and understanding until they start crying on the pages. You know, this is what their 2 prior videos are about. If you think that that would just help, then you have no idea the gravity of the problem that we're facing. This is the part of the thing where we go all out, because we're trying to perform a miracle. We're trying to heal our children of criminal thinking, eating demons, sexual deviancy demons, and drug addiction demons. They don't go out without a fight. Let's pose a question. Where is the most advanced bioreactor on the planet Earth? Well, I'll tell you right now. It was designed by God, and it's in every one of our intestines. Now that we've done the first 2 steps, then we have like some area that is very controlled. You know, it has to be controlled. And we're going to talk about a few different aspects. But the very first thing that we have to address is the Candida. When I went to this rehab, they were talking about all this stuff like it's common knowledge. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I've been struggling from a weight problem, eating problems my whole life. What? Are you kidding me? The very first thing that we got to do to heal them is change the diet. And I'm sorry, but there just can't be any animal protein whatsoever or sugar. There is a demon that lives inside of our intestines, and it's living in most Americans, and they have no idea. The diet would consist of, in the morning, you take fulvic acid. It's a silage, they call it. It's like from the Himalayas. You know, and the Indians have known about this for thousands of years. So that's the very first thing they drink in the morning, it with warm water. You know, the nutrient absorption. The next thing would be like maybe some honey with a little bit of black seeds. And that helps like scrape this stuff off the side of your, because this is the nature of the problem. There is a bacterial infection, a Candida infection in pretty much every person that eats the standard American diet that is causing their nutrient absorption to be garbage, pretty much. So we need this layers of built up infection to come out. We can give them a little bit of oatmeal in the morning to start. Now, I know, Dr. Gundry, you're one of my heroes, and I know you're going to say like about the glyphosate and everything, but trust me, they can be eating it their whole life. They can stand a little bit. Afterwards, they can go off, but the oatmeal's good. Oatmeal's good. A little bit of natural sugar, a little bit of honey, a little bit of a few bananas. It's good. During the day, they would alternate between having to drink like 3 to 5 of these glasses of juice. It would consist of beet juice, celery, greens, all these things that it's like an alkaline juice of sorts. We could grow this stuff right there at Pitch's Detention Center. There's lots of area. You know, we could have them growing it. I understand that you're like, oh my God, we're not going to bring this. We're trying to heal our children here, guys. So just bear with me. Okay, the other thing we're going to need is during the day is probably 2 to 3 of these protein shakes. Now, the protein shakes will consist of colostrum, which is known to, heal the microbiome. Bone broth, powdered bone thing, and that is a little bit of animal protein, but that's acceptable. So it's not 100% plant-based. We've got the little bit of oatmeal in the morning, not much, just, their Candida is going to be cranking because you got to understand something about this. Okay, this thing is controlling their mind. It is the first demon that we have to attack, okay? It is inside their intestines. Now, modern science will tell you that intestines is the only other organ inside your body that has neurons like your brain. And there's more nerve connectings connecting your brain to your intestines than any other organ in your body. They call it your second brain. And that controls our thoughts. So when somebody says, I can't do that diet or I can't do it, they're literally being controlled by a bacterial infection that's inside their intestines. I've seen this myself because I've seen it come out of me. And afterwards, it's like fasting, no problem. And everybody knows, Dr. Eric Berg, you know about the benefits of fasting. A lot of people in America can't fast. And that's because they're controlled by this bacterial infection that's controlling their thoughts. Because after it comes out of you, you can fast. It's all good. So for dinner, we would have salad. We can't have any dressing except for a mixture of apple cider vinegar and olive oil. We can't have all these dressings have seed oils that cut our gut open and damage our gut. We can't have any of that. Seed oils are the enemy. Causes skin problems, everything. And I'll go into that later in a different episode because I had acne problems and they're gone. I know exactly what causes them when I do breakouts because I ate too much seed oils with a mixture of sodium because sodium actually exacerbates it. But I'll get into that in a different episode. Beans or lentils. Now, I preferably pressure cooked because they do have lectins. So people that suffer from skin problems, it would be better if we pressure cook them. But not necessary. They can figure that out later. See a different episode for that. But so beans, very little salt in the beans, maybe a couple bay leaves, but very little salt. And some rice, a little bit of rice. So that is the diet. You know, it's very, very, very simple. It's not much. There's no animal protein. It's not very, you'll be craving this whole time. Now you got to do this for a couple months before we can actually heal them. But I'll tell you, magic happens. So in the place I went, they did coffee enemas. Now the amount of coffee enemas they did to us, you would need IVs because these things dehydrate you. So of course, all the actual feces and stuff came out with the first one or second one. After that, it just looks just like it when it came out. Except, I would look in the toilet and I'd be like, what is this floating in the toilet? Because when they completely alkalined our diet, and then I looked in the toilet on these coffee enemas, it looked like a snake was shedding its skin. Like there was all these little floating film. And now I'm doing 6 of these a day, 6 in and outs a day, guys. So about 5 of them, I'm just staring at this thing. And this happened to me for 2 months. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, what is this coming out of me? They're talking like it's common knowledge, right? They're like, it's Candida. That's what's been causing you to crave all these foods and why you can't fast and why you're a slave to food. I'm like, you mean I've been suffering from eating problems and weight problems my whole life and no one's ever told me this? Like, what kind of clown world am I living in? What's going on? Now, during this period of time, there was only a certain type of content that we could watch because the content that we were allowed to watch was the chef, Cynthia Louise. Hi, Cynthia. I love your energy. You're an amazing, she's a plant-based chef. If you guys watch one of her episodes, when you do this diet, now she, uses more spices and stuff, but I'll tell you, you can just see how she feels with this plant-based diet. Now, this is a little bit of an extreme plant-based diet here that we're just on the bare minimum, very little sodium. She uses a lot of salt and pepper and stuff like this. But of course, she's never suffered from horrible drug addiction and criminal thinking and stuff. So it's cool. They can venture off with these different types of recipes later. But this diet has to be extremely strict because the main enemy that we're trying to kill here is the Candida inside of them. But the point I was making about Cynthia Louise is if you watch some of her episodes, look at how she pops around on her set. She feels amazing, dude. And this is how you feel when your Candida starts leaving you. And I noticed afterwards my nutrient absorption. So after I got out of this place, I took some collagen. The next day my skin started shining. It was like a different world. It was like all these people that try to sell you these supplements online. They never suffered from Candida. They're like my wife or my cousin. That their body or their DNA is adapted for them. Their body, they lived in maybe their ancestors, like my wife, her genetics come from the Ukraine. They've lived in some of the most fertile farmland in the world so she has, all these genetics that are adapted for eating lectins from wheat and stuff like this. Yeah, my body ain't adapted for that at all. And I think a lot of Americans are. Pretty much, you can tell if you have this problem if you're overweight. If you're overweight, you have Candida. Pretty much. You live in America, so that's pretty much the problem. You get rid of this Candida, but it takes months. And they told me that if I were to eat one little Snicker bar or a little bit of animal protein, I would stop seeing it come out of me for 5 days. So how we have to imagine this is that this is some kind of like snake-like demon that is controlling our thoughts in our intestines, and we have to starve it to death. And I'll tell you that I craved throughout my prison terms and stuff, and even though I got in really good shape and went to fire camp and all that, it's like when I went back out into the standard American environment and there was all these advertisements for food and stuff, that Candida was alive and well. Even though I felt great and was in good shape, it changes your mind once you have this detox period of time where this stuff comes out of you. As soon as you see that stuff stop coming out of you in those coffee enemas, it's like, it's mind-blowing. It's like a completely different world. It's like, oh yeah, I'm not going to eat for a few days. I'm going to feel amazing. So it's like, once this demon, this infection comes out of you, it's like a completely different world. But a lot of people don't understand. It's a very strict diet for months. Because if you feed it at all, it'll survive in you. It'll stop coming out of you. Because I seen it with my own eyes come out of me in the toilet. And I was like, what is that? These people are talking like it's common knowledge. They were like, oh yeah, it's your Candida. That's what's made you not be able to fast and feel like shit your whole life. I'm like, what? That's what makes it to where your body, your bioreactor in your stomach can't absorb any of these, amazing foods. And my mind was blown. This is what we have to do. It's a very strict diet. There's no animal protein, no sugar, very minimal. We're going to have to spend a little money on the protein shakes because that colostrum is very important. We're going to need an industrial grade juicer with a lot of vegetables, a lot of beet juice, because we got to alkaline this. We got to run all this stuff through them. Oh yeah, one more thing. Right before bed, give them some diatomaceous earth. It's like this microsilica stuff, helps scrape and get that stuff out. The coffee enemas, there's a lot of people that can say that they work or they don't, or there's a lot of medical research going both ways. But I think it's really good for the visuals. You're like, oh, all that stuff came out of me and I feel a lot better. Like a lot better. Like so much better, it's mind-blowing. And now I can fast and now I'm not a slave to food. And it's just like a different world, So that is one aspect of what we have to do. There's a lot more things we're going to have to do for months to prepare them for the be-all, end-all of this healing process, which is like magic. The very end step is magical. But we have to prepare them, and it takes months to prepare them. That's the diet. That's what we have to do in this last step of healing our traumatized children that are currently suffering in tents on the side of the street and in prison and jails. This is it. That's the diet for the third and final step, which has a lot of different aspects to it, but that is the diet. So now that you understand the diet, we can move on to some other things that have to happen within this time period. But America, you can like and subscribe if you want, but I would highly appreciate it if you just prayed for me. It's very powerful. I pray every day, all the time, and magic seems to happen. It's amazing. I just feel like my Father just loves me so much. Just amazing. Anyway, America, that's the first part of the healing process, the be-all, end-all, the third step that we have to address. And we'll move on to the next one. So if you would like to keep watching to learn a lot about how we can end this demonic plague of death and pain and trauma, okay. Love every single one of you. Don't forget it. Until next time. Goodbye.